Welcome back to my channel where sometimes I talk about things. So this week I wanted to share my experience of getting a vaccine as a potsy. If you don't know what POTS is, that's okay. I'm going to leave some information across the screen somewhere. This is just my experience. All POTS patients are different. All people with chronic illnesses or disabilities are different. But basically, if you didn't know already, I have a condition called POTS. And it sometimes makes getting over illnesses or certain symptoms kind of hard. For instance, I tend to get colds and they last for 2 or 3 months. But yeah. So when I was finally eligible for the vaccine, because, Arkansas's governor doesn't give a shit about people who have chronic health conditions and therefore have weakened or compromised immune systems such as I, and we had to wait until April. Well, end of March really, but... So when I was finally eligible for the vaccine, I was ready to get it. I scheduled my appointment that day and I got the soonest appointment that worked for me. I also want to say that I got the vaccine during a POTS flare-up, which is a bad idea. But some of it was actually kind of funny, so I thought, why not make it into a video? So like I said, I was already going through a POTS flare-up when I got the vaccine. So the day before, I was going through vertigo, dizziness, nausea, muscle pain, breathing issues, fatigue. That POTS life. And this had already been happening for 24 hours before I got the vaccine. So I get into the clinic, and getting the shot was very fast. I want to say not even 5 minutes. It was kind of baffling. However, after I got the shot, like I said, I was still pretty potsy. And by the way, potsy is going to be kind of a slang term that I use whenever I'm having symptoms. And especially when they're bad, I'll just say something like, oh, I'm very potsy today, or sorry, I'm pretty potsy today, stuff like that. But after I got the shot, almost immediately, I was feeling pretty hot. My POTS symptoms were starting to increase after probably 5 minutes or something like that. But the most amount of time that I actually spent in the clinic was sitting there while people basically watched me to be like, you okay? How you feeling? You feeling okay? Are you good? Are you good? Are you good? Are you good? And I was just meanwhile like, I'm great. I'm great. I'm great. I'm not freaking out. I'm great. But after talking to one of the doctors there, we did determine that this was my POTS. So they wheel me out and I get in the car and we just head home. Now, whenever you think about possible symptoms that you've heard people getting after getting the vaccine, first or second dose, I had all of them. I'm going to spare you the details on some of them because nobody needs to hear that. However, I am going to go over some of the symptoms that I had that were pretty extreme, so you have an idea of how my body reacted. I'm a Capricorn and I made a list. Exhaustion. Ooh, that was bad. Nausea, headache, arm and joint pain, and of course, increased POTS symptoms. Another symptom that I had that I wasn't really expecting, but made this video worth making because a lot of really funny things happened because of it, was delirium. Yeah, I was pretty delirious during a lot of the couple of days as I was having that many symptoms and was very, very sick. But the alternative is so much worse. So I was totally fine to deal with 2 days of, misery. Because now I have less of a risk of getting the murmurs. And if I do get the murmurs, then at least I won't get as sick from the murmurs. But yeah, some things that I remember that, Brendan actually reminded me of some of them. Whenever I was trying to sleep it off, I put on a podcast because sometimes whenever I'm trying to sleep or trying to relax, then I will put on a podcast to kind of let my brain relax and ease some anxiety that I may have at bedtime or whatever is going on. I listened to an episode of Nothing Much Happens, and I only vaguely remember this incident, but I do remember that the story was taking place in a coffee shop, and they were talking about some of the treats you might get at a coffee shop, and one of those treats was cake. I want to say it was like cinnamon something, sugary, buttery yumminess that just sounded real good kind of cake. And in my half-awake slumber, I yell out for Brendan. And he goes, what? He rushes in, apparently. I mean, again, like, I don't remember exactly what happened, but he said that he rushes in, he thinks something is really wrong, and that I needed him, and like, oh my God, are you okay? That kind of thing. And he comes in, he's like, what? And I go, I want cake. Yeah. And apparently at some point I also cried out for ice cream, which is ironic because a lot of the day I was very nauseous. Yet in my state of mind, I was somehow like, I want cake. I want ice cream. I want things that could destroy my intestines. I want things that can make my IBS symptoms go boom. Because yeah, I have IBS too. We're not going to talk about that. So I got the shot on a Friday, which my first dose, by the way, Pfizer, if you were wondering. But yeah, I was very, very sick Friday through, I won't even say Monday or Tuesday. I was still feeling exhausted. The exhaustion, by the way, was one of the worst parts. Like, I don't even know how much I slept the weekend that I got the first shot. But, yeah, I was either sleeping or near sleep, or I was lying down. I also had a lot of muscle pains and joint pains and just full body aches. At one point I felt feverish, kind of chilly, splitting headache at one point. Like it full on felt like a migraine. And I was super nauseous. Like that was, another really hard part. I ended up throwing up everything I ate for dinner. Anyway, I think that's enough of that. You get the point. And to close this off, I wanted to share with you a list of similes that I created whenever I was in a delirious state to try to express how I was feeling. I feel like a penguin with no ice to slide on. A basketball with no hoop to go through. Oh no. An untouched pie at a lonely Thanksgiving dinner. What? The last thing that I wrote is, my brain is swimming. I promise I wasn't on anything besides Tylenol. Oh my God. Well, that was an experience. Anyway, that's my experience getting the first dose of the vaccine. Once again, this is just my experience. Everyone's different. Every body is different. I 100% would do it again because, like I said, it is so much better than the alternative. If you like this video, please give me a like. And if you want to comment on this video, please give me a comment. And if you want to subscribe if you want. All right, I love you guys. Mwah. Bye.